Chicago PD and Chicago Fire see huge streaming spikes after controversial renewal decision. Chicago PD and Chicago Fire are both seeing impressive jumps in streaming this week. The shows continue to draw in audiences after their recent renewals came with a controversial catch. Flix Patrol shows both Chicago PD and Chicago Fire climbing on Peacock's top 10 for the week in the United States. Chicago PD has been hovering in the top 10 all week, going from the 10th spot on June 13 to number 7 yesterday and climbing even higher to number 5 today. Chicago Fire has also been seeing an upward trajectory, being at the number 10 spot on June 12 before climbing to number 9 yesterday and peaking at number 6 today. The One Chicago franchise has been a massive success for NBC, often dominating its TV ratings and drawing in high streaming numbers on Peacock. Last month, it was revealed that NBC gave all the One Chicago shows new season orders, but it came with a big catch: budget cuts. Rumors suggest that one way that shows like Chicago PD and Chicago Fire are set to reduce their costs is by excluding some of the series' regulars from appearing in every episode going forward. It was also reported that the cast were expected to forego their annual raises, and all three series are likely to have shorter episode counts in their upcoming seasons. To make matters worse, NBC is reportedly still negotiating with some of the franchise's veteran cast members on their contracts, meaning fans of the One Chicago shows may be seeing some characters leaving if agreements can't be reached. With that said, it is believed that all cast members are in talks to return at this time. Chicago Fire is the first installment in the franchise, which premiered back in 2012 and has run for over 270 episodes to date. It explores the professional and personal lives of firefighters and rescue professionals of the Chicago Fire Department. The franchise's second entry, Chicago PD, followed in 2013 and focuses on patrol officers of the Chicago Police Department. It recently aired its season 12 finale, which drew complaints from fans after a long-awaited moment didn't get the time to shine that some felt it deserved. The Chicago franchise was created in part by Dick Wolf and produced by Wolf Entertainment, and over the course of the franchise's run, it's been shown that the shows share a universe with Wolf's other popular franchise, Law and Order. The shared universe sees multiple shows often crossing over with each other, creating interconnected storylines and shared character interactions. The first crossover between the two franchises was back in 2014 when Law and Order, SVU, and Chicago PD shared a storyline that saw Ice-T, Kelly Giddish, and David Eigenberg's characters heading to Chicago to hunt down a criminal. Earlier this year, the three One Chicago shows, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD, shared an epic storyline that saw a gas explosion hitting a high-rise building, forcing all three groups to work together to save those who were trapped, including two of their own members. The One Chicago universe is no stranger to drama, but this time it's not playing out on the streets of the Windy City. In a move that sparked both outrage and celebration across social media, NBC made the surprise announcement to renew Chicago PD and Chicago Fire for shortened seasons amid ongoing cost-cutting and restructuring. While many fans were shocked by the controversial decision, what followed stunned industry insiders even more. Both shows experienced massive streaming spikes across platforms like Peacock, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. The backlash heard round the internet when NBC announced that Chicago PD would return with just 13 episodes, down from its usual 22, and Chicago Fire would receive a similarly slimmed-down season. Fans erupted. Hashtags like #Save Owen at Chicago and #FullSeasonNow quickly trended on X, formerly Twitter. Loyal viewers who had followed the shows for over a decade called the decision a betrayal of two of the network's most reliable performers. "It's like they forgot what made these shows iconic," one user posted. "You can't build up a whole arc and then cram it into 13 episodes. That's not what Voight would want." But even as social media fumed, a different trend began to emerge: binge watching. According to industry analytics firm Streammetrics, the week following NBC's announcement saw a 63% jump in Chicago Fire streaming and a staggering 77% increase for Chicago PD Season 10, and 11 viewership in particular surged as fans went back to revisit key plot points, beloved character arcs, and unresolved storylines. The announcement may have upset fans, but it also reignited passion, said Sasha Levin, a streaming analyst at Popcast Weekly. "It's the paradox of outrage culture. People are mad, but they show their loyalty by rewatching everything." Peacock servers were reportedly under unexpected strain the weekend after the news broke, and Chicago Fire cracked the top 5 most streamed shows on the platform for the first time since its explosive 200th episode aired. What's driving the curiosity? One major factor appears to be uncertainty. With shorter seasons, fans worry there won't be time to give beloved characters proper endings, or worse, that cliffhangers will go unresolved. The decision has fans digging deep into past episodes, trying to predict who might be written off, whose storylines may be rushed, and whether any unfinished business will be wrapped at all. The most watched episode of Chicago PD on Peacock during the spike. Season 10, Episode 22. Haley Upton's emotional standalone hour, which many now speculate could serve as a soft send-off if Tracy Spiridakos doesn't return. For Chicago Fire, the fan favorite was the dramatic Season 12 finale, with Severide's return and the cliffhanger surrounding Chief Foden's future. "Every scene feels like it could be a farewell," one Reddit user wrote. "So I'm watching with fresh eyes, just in case." The cast reacts. While NBC has remained quiet since the initial announcement, the stars of One Chicago haven't shied away from weighing in. Jason Begg, who plays Hank Voight, shared a cryptic Instagram post of himself in character, staring down at the Chicago skyline with the caption, "We don't need a full season to make noise." Fans took the post as both a show of confidence and a subtle jab at the network's choice. Meanwhile, Taylor Kinney reposted a fan edit of Severide moments with the caption, "Fire still burns. Always." Miranda Ray Mayo, who plays Stella Kidd, went live on TikTok to say, "We're going to give you everything we've got. Whether it's 13 episodes or 22, this family doesn't half show up." What this means for the franchise's future. Some insiders believe the renewal decision is a test, NBC watching whether the shortened seasons will cut costs without sacrificing ratings. But the streaming spikes complicate that equation. If anything, the viewership surge shows that fans are still invested, perhaps more than ever. "It's risky," said TV critic Aisha Curran of TV Torchlight. "You can't treat your loyal fan base like an afterthought and expect them to stay." But if these streaming numbers hold or grow, NBC might spin it as a win regardless. Others think this opens the door to special event-style storytelling. With fewer episodes, each one could feel more cinematic, like Chicago PD's epic Justice Project or Chicago Fire's multi-station Inferno rescues. There's an opportunity to treat every episode like a finale, Curran added. If done right, it could revolutionize how these procedurals work. Spin-off talk reignites. As the streaming boom continues, whispers of potential spin-offs have grown louder. Rumors have circulated of a Chicago Justice revival after its premature end, or even a Voight-centric prequel exploring his early days before intelligence. With fan enthusiasm peaking, NBC Universal may consider alternative paths to keep the franchise alive and vibrant beyond just long seasons. One viral post floated a Chicago Med trauma unit concept, diving deeper into field medicine, with crossovers from Fire and TD. NBC hasn't confirmed any development, but in a world of universe expansion, a la Law and Order, anything is possible. A fan base that won't back down. In many ways, the streaming spikes are a love letter from fans to the creators, cast and crews who've built these Chicago shows into cultural cornerstones. Whether it's the street-level grit of PD or the brotherhood and bravery of Firehouse 51, the core themes still resonate. As one fan wrote, NBC can shorten the seasons, but they can't shorten our love. With tens of millions of streaming minutes racking up by the day, the message is clear. This franchise may be in transition, but its flame is far from extinguished.